Hi, Abraham. It's so wonderful to see you again. Before I go about asking my questions, I had a dream last night that I was here at the workshop, and there was about 10 people, myself included, in the room. I kid you not. Our friends that went before I did, they were in my dream. I never saw them before or anything like that, but I just thought, wow, I can't believe that the people who had the chance to talk to you were in my dreams.
So are you saying to us that the cooperative components had already been gathered, and that in your dream state and absence of resistance, you were able to translate that vibration into something that was meaningful to you, and then you lived a real life experience that confirmed that you were doing that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That sounds like a good book.
Cool that you say that, because I am definitely a writer. Here's where I'm at in life right now. So I have these dreams, very big dreams, and I'm all about success.
Before you go further, we want to diffuse something just a little bit. When someone calls something a very big dream, they stick a little dissatisfaction in it because it's so big. When you say big, you introduce some resistance because of your ability to consider odds. Big, therefore it's harder. It's big, therefore it's less likely. Now, maybe you didn't mean it that way, but there's a part of your vibration that does. When your dreams, no matter how big they seem to others, to you just seem like the next logical step, then you've closed that gap and things are just unfolding nicely. Could you feel that distinction?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And
definitely. So basically, I'm very interested in getting into modeling, because I've spent a good part of my the last few years working out and just want to show off my body in a really nice way. I also want to write books akin to the success of J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter. I'm a very ambitious person. So basically my question to you...
Well, here's our question to you.
Okay.
We understand the gathering of those intentions. Our question to you is, do you feel like you're moving toward being vibrationally up to speed with them? Because that's all that's required.
Yes.
Then our next question to you is, are you a complainer?
Most of the time, no. I do catch myself though when I complain.
But what we mean is, we're asking everybody this. You're not a complainer on things that are going well, but big things. Do you ever catch yourself complaining about your current relationship with the places that you want to be? Because that's the only thing you got to keep an eye on. Jerry used to offer the analogy to Esther and others years ago that when he would sit in front of a fireplace and there was a particular spunky log that was sparking, that every now and again a spark would come out into the room, maybe get on the carpet or on his sweater. And he noticed that if he just brushed it right off, no problem at all. But if he didn't notice it, if he was unaware, then it could burn a hole relatively quickly. And complaining burns holes for a couple of reasons. First, in the moment of a complaint, you're not satisfied, and when you're not satisfied, you're not aligned. And when you're not aligned, you don't have clarity. Second, when you're complaining, law of attraction is responding to your vibration of complaint, which means you're not letting yourself be a cooperative component. So it's like this. You're going to understand this, and this is an important distinction. These things that you want to attract to yourself, that you've described that are lovely and underway, your inner being has got it. In other words, there's no dream too big for your inner being and the leverage of the universe to accomplish. So your inner being's all over that, and the cooperative components are being gathered. But when you complain, even for a moment, you're not a cooperative component. And what happens is, one complaint starts momentum for another and another, because law of attraction doesn't let anything go. Law of attraction doesn't say, well, his inner being's got it, so even though he's complaining, don't respond to him. Law of attraction responds to both aspects of you all the time. So it's not that you need to allow your dreams to grow. They're growing, they're gestating, it's becoming, it's real, it's sure. The question is, are you in the vicinity of it or not? And the answer to that question is, depends on how you feel. So the preparation that you've been inspired to is a wonderful thing. but we want it to have felt good all along the way. If everything you do, like I'm bringing my body into this beautiful condition so that I can have that, if everything that you do is in order to not be where you are, in order to be someplace else, it's the wrong reason and it's the wrong vibrational. When you pay a price to get something, that price paying is the equivalent of complaining. So you can't be paying the price. You have to be romping down the trail of becoming. This is so much fun. There's so many benefits to this. But what happens, hear this. Oh, we like this so much. Going back to the first thing that we were talking about here today. In your desire to be understood by others, when you become a masterful creator and fabulous things start happening to you, others don't like you as much. Because your success points out to them the crevasse between what they're asking for and where they are. And so you must not fall to the temptation of trying to explain to them, well, I've been working out 4 hours every single day, and I've been really paying a price, and this has not been an easy thing to do. You get what we're saying? You want to romp joyously down this trail of unfolding as you become an ever increasingly cooperative component to your own dreams. And that's what living happily ever after is.
Absolutely. And absolutely. And
we don't find you to be a complainer. We really don't. Not much. Just a little bit. Everybody complains about some things. Complaining is actually the first step in step one. In other words, you got to know what you don't want. Oh, this is awful. I don't want that. That's complaining. Just don't stay there. Launch the rocket and then pivot toward the rocket. But what happens when you have dreams that you've been languishing in for a while because you haven't known what was keeping them from happening? Then as time goes by and you're still trying to keep those dreams alive, more and more there's complaining going on, and you got to cut it out. Just ask yourself, am I satisfied or unsatisfied? Esther started to do that hundreds of times every day. She'll be driving, she'll have a thought, and she'll say, is that satisfying? And if it is, she'll just let it roll on. But if it isn't, she brushes it off. And the other night, she was watching someone on television and someone else on television, and both of them were saying, someone said, well, did it bother you what those people said about you? And he said, no, I just brush it off. And Esther said, yes, he just brushes it off. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think the complaint, it just stems more so from frustration.
Don't care.
Don't care. Don't care.
Oh, we care. We just don't want to be a sounding board for your complaining. And every moment you explain it to us, you are practicing the vibration of it and holding yourself apart from what you really want. Esther sometimes, in her attempt to entertain whoever's around her, will say, I have not one thing to complain about. Doesn't keep me from complaining, but I have not one thing to complain about. Because she's wanting to normalize herself with others. Stop it, Esther.
I feel like, Abraham, you're reading my mind because all the questions and everything that I have, you're answering them. You're hitting the nail on the
Your
coffin.
dream invaded this workshop hours before it happened.
Yes. Yes.
There's a big, bright vortex that we all have access to. And the more you look there, the better you feel. Which means to a lot of people that say, oh, there's this workshop that you can go to and they'll teach you not to face reality. Yeah. They'll teach you to look into this non-physical place and let that be the basis of how you feel. And we say, that's exactly what we do. We don't want you to face reality, meaning the manifested thoughts already turned to things. We want you to create reality.
Exactly. I was just going to say that too. I always say, don't face reality, create it.
Well, we really appreciate the advanced announcement because you're feeding really good material to us.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Enough?
Just one more question. I've been doing some research and working with a therapist on becoming a more powerful manifester. And I was advised that if I want to receive the gifts of the universe, that I would need to work with my lower chakras more so than my higher chakras. And I was just wondering...
That's basically garbage. Well, we'll just be really brief about that. That's the opposite of everything we were just talking about. You've already launched these rockets of desire, and your work is to raise vibration. And there's a human tendency that believes you got to get to the bottom of what's holding you back. But you can't get to the bottom of what's holding you back without activating a vibration that separates you from any clarity that will help you to move on. So that's counterproductive to the laws of the universe as they are. And it's spoken by someone, and lots of therapists believe this, that you've got to dig into the reality that you've already created in order to understand how you've created it. And we all know, because we understand law of attraction, that the more you dig into a reality that you don't like, the more you hold fast to the reality that you don't like. So now, in fairness, an awareness of your vibrational frequencies matters. An awareness that you are allowing your vibrations to rise matters. But you got to look up. Jerry learned that about Esther years ago as they were driving. They'd be driving down the highway, big monster bus, 45 feet long, Prevost bus, on airbags, aerodynamic, most wonderful machine ever invented, car towed behind it. Esther's driving. Jerry's scared. He got used to it. And he'd say, oh, look at that barn. And Esther would start driving toward it. And he noticed that whatever he pointed out, she just started veering that direction. And then he discovered he only ever pointed out things to her that were dead ahead, right straight down the road. If the rainbow was there, look at the rainbow. If it was over there, he pretended like he didn't see it. Because you go where you're pointed. You just do.
Well, I am always pointed at the highest level of vibration possible. That's where I feel the best at.
Yeah, it is where you feel the best. And you're not always pointed there, and that's okay. Because you have some step one moments, but you mostly do. You're doing really, 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 really well. And we've enjoyed this interaction a lot.
We've enjoyed this interaction as well. Thank you so much, Abraham.
Yeah.